Again, I like that she has a lot of different tools and looks, but again, it's like she drifts between them too much. Sean Porter always talks about using the right. Are you going to use the handgun for this guy or the shotgun, or do you got to pull out the automatic? Like, which tool is needed for the assignment? And Claressa, in a lot of her fights, she just drifts between each tool, shows you she could do a number of different things, and then almost always punctuates at some point with the 10-punch combo. But I feel
That's
like if she
why the
could,
girl Tam Tebow, like to make her have to dig deeper into her toolbox and deal with a girl who's rangy and can punch and mobile. And
I don't think
I,
it's even like digging into the toolbox. I think she digs into the toolbox in most of these fights, like she is now, but it's forcing her to choose the right tools consistently throughout the whole fight.
yeah,
Because these girls, it's like, am I going to whoop her ass with the up jab and the shoulder roll? Am I going to whoop her ass with the 10-punch combo? Am I going to whoop her ass fighting off the ropes? Am I going to step in here and there and hit her body? You know, there's the double jab to the body right there, 30 seconds into the
ab
six.
jab.
Little flicker lead right hand there in the center of the ring. Right hand over the top of Scott's jab. Scott nods to say that shot landed. Lead right hand combination sets up a left hook to punctuate that sequence in the center of the ring. Lands for Shields. Doubles up on the left hook. Back on the straight right hand. I think part of why she doesn't get a lot. Oh, there's a big right hand left
Oh,
hook.
is this the moment?
Scott. Oh, big left hook.
Oh,
Hey, Scott punches in between.
daggers. He's buckled.
Scott. Oh, and Scott goes down into the ropes. The ropes hold her up, and it's a knockdown. She never recovered from a vicious left hook Shields set up by throwing combinations.
Oh yes, Case got ready to go. She's like, "What? Why the hell am I here?"
You know the combination's coming. Her version of a De La Hoya kind of just overwhelm him with a flurry, make the ref have to call it. Lead right hand follows up with a combination 1-2, 1-2, and the towel comes in.
There's the towel.
That's the 6th round stoppage for Claressa Shields.
Another remarkable performance from the GWO. This fight was exactly like what it looked like on paper.
Beautiful left hook.
Beautiful left hook. Beautiful performance. An absolute just Picasso of the sport. Claressa Shields.
Even, yes, if it's against a 42-year-old with 7 fights, but still, that's who's out there with 2 belts in this weight class. The other fighter with 2 belts in this weight class would provide a much more interesting challenge, but that was a beautiful left hook. And Brendan, that's the kind of performance when you send the crowd home happy like that in front of a packed crowd like that, it's only going to raise your star and your stature as a draw. So,
and I reiterate, and so some of it is satire, but nah, man, she's great. The greatest American fighter in the post-Floyd Mayweather era. I actually believe that.
Over Terrence.
Yeah, she has 2 gold medals.
I can't put her above Terrence Crawford, but
I know it's different.
The accomplishments speak for themselves. But
21 times? I mean, what
the fuck? Yeah, 21-time world champion now, right?
21-time world champion. I mean, she's not just greatness, Sean. She's redefining what greatness is in the sport of boxing. You understand? I remember
the generational American athlete. I've said that for years.
I remember being at the 2016 WBC convention, and she had to do media, and a lot of the boxing people at that time didn't like her, didn't want to talk to her, for preying on her downfall just because of how she was, being so outspoken and whatnot. And she had a lot of pressure coming into the pros to succeed and achieve, and she's done that in spades. In spades, she's redefined greatness in boxing. So you can sit here and say it's women's boxing, it's Kay Scott, this, that, and the third. She beat everybody, with the exception of Tam Tebow and I guess Michaela Mayer, who she's probably going to fight. She's beating everybody that's been asked of her to fight.
I think that fight might be next, Michaela Mayer, as long as Michaela beats Chantel Cameron. But that was a beautiful left hook set up off the combination to really end the fight. And, you're sharing your story about people maybe not liking her at the WBC convention. I have a great story. This is before her professional debut. And I'm on the bus with the media, some very well-known, largely followed media types in boxing. We're on the bus in September 2016 to Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, to watch Canelo fight Liam Smith. And they were scoffing and laughing at the notion that she thought she could earn $1 million, $1 million purse in women's boxing. And I jump in and I go, you don't think she can do it? I think she could do it. I was like, I'm like, look at Serena Williams, like who really gives a fuck about women's tennis? But she's such a dominant generational athlete that kind of talent is going to get to the money somehow. And I told them right there, it was a couple of guys who are probably going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame as media members. And they just were like, there's no money in women's boxing. It'll never happen. And here she is probably making multiple $1 million purses now in her career. So good for her. The boxing purists and intelligentsia will obviously point out the lack of depth in these divisions compared to lower divisions and all that. But at some point, like you said, 21 world titles, 2 gold medals, never coming close to losing a fight. This level of dominance speaks for itself.
Bro, if you hate on Claressa Shields, you're just a miserable person. You're a hater. She's great. She's redefined greatness in the sport of boxing.
Go ahead, BT.
I'm sorry. I know a lot of you don't like women's boxing, and in recent years, I probably will side with a lot of you guys. Like I don't like it as much as I used to. However, there are certain athletes that come around that will not just be great, not just be Hall of Famers, but they redefine how we actually look at what greatness actually is in the sport. Like I remember watching her spar men at 5th Street Gym, Miami, also in 2016. And obviously, I don't think the men were going 100%, but just her understanding of positioning, her overall ring craft was up there with some of the greatest fighters I've ever seen in my time doing this. Which is going to be 11 years next month. So she's great. Stop being cool. Jesus,
she's a great fighter. And probably the greatest female fighter of all time. I believe she is. If you think it's Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano or someone else, that's fine. But in my book, she is the greatest. She is the GOAT. That's not a virtue signal. That's not trying to be invited to the cookout. It's just what I think. If you don't like her because she talks about beating men and you think she's ridiculous for that, that's fine. If you think she's narcissistic and hell, if you think she's too ratchet, whatever, that's fine. But what you can't discredit is this level of dominance. What could she do? Shrink her, pray to God that she wakes up 126 pounds so there's many more women in her weight class. And this level of dominance is about as dominant as it gets in any sport, So she is. I saw the ladies ringside doing the thing. It's funny, but she's an all-time great athlete at this point.
If and look, I mean,
she's not being challenged. Well, Vladimir Klitschko didn't have a lot to be challenged. Even Joe Louis, who Brendan will fight me for bringing this up, but Joe Louis had a Bum of the Month club.
Correct, and I think
so you can only fight the people with the belts that are there, the top fighters in the division, and she's done that repeatedly and not even come close to losing. Christina Hammer's a good fighter, and Savannah Marshall is a good fighter, and she handily beat both of them. There's other good fighters on her resume. I think if she was the same size as Amanda Serrano, she'd beat Amanda Serrano. I think she'd beat Katie Taylor. But yes, those fighters fight in divisions where there's many more women to fill out the depth of talent. But what she lacks in the quantity of fighters at her division, she just makes up for with sheer dominance. Those other fighters we mentioned have lost and had multiple close calls in their career. She has hardly lost rounds as a professional. So
I agree.
We got a super chat from It's Party Time Too. Says it's a lot of haters in the comments. Don't down her, crown her, suckers.
I'm with you. I'm with the champ, Claressa Shields. Like, I'm actually, like, I don't say this about many fighters, but I'm grateful to have witnessed the Claressa Shields career from beginning to end, from the amateurs to the gold medals to her time in the pros. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying however many more fights are left. I'm just enjoying every last one of them.
I do want to see the Tam Thibault fight.
Tam Thibault to me is definitely in terms of just.
But she's just 5 fights in too, so she's she probably wants to get some more experience.
But no, she won the Ring Magazine title.
Right.
If you're good enough to win a Ring Magazine title at that stage, then
let's get it.
Take the test. Let's run.
Yeah, you're right, because I definitely don't want to see another 42-year-old.
Correct. I think we're tired of that. It's cool. For a fight or two, but I mean, this is who had the belt.
But props to her, man. This could have been another 10-round shutout for her, but with Shakur ringside and Floyd ringside and Terrence ringside and Keyshawn and Usher and all these celebrities and fighting outside of Detroit in a fan base that wants to be compelled to see you again and isn't only just going to be loyal to you because you're fighting at home in Detroit. I mean, she put on an A+ performance, as expected. Kay Scott, again, totally outgunned and overmatched, even with the 2 belts, 42 years old, 7 pro fights, had lost before tonight, but she got her out of there. So,
Sean, how many times have me and you either covered fights or had to make videos about fighters that are in clear mismatched fights, and they don't have performances like that? They go 10. Yeah. They don't put their foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Used to say, "Oh, I got hit with 1 shot in 10 rounds, and I had to be safe." Nah, man. If there's a gap in class, if they don't belong in the ring with you, get them up out of there.
And she did.
And that's what she did. So, what do you want?
I want to see her fight 3-minute rounds at some point. Michaela, Tamara Thibault. Those are the fights that matter right now in her career. So, but give her all the props as always. Matt Borgeson with the super chat says, she is slick when she wants to be. She can swat when she wants to. Fight inside and outside. She could literally do it all. I agree. And I think sometimes she doesn't get the knockouts because she doesn't always sharpshoot. She gets a little bit wild with her combinations. And the girls, from the outset, I think they get hurt and overwhelmed, and they start to fight in a shell and not give her a lot of opportunities to punch in between. And the opportunities to punch in between is usually when you really hurt somebody. Kay Scott, to her credit, she opened up in that exchange when she got hurt. She got caught in between with that hook, didn't see it coming, flung her jaw around. She got stopped. A lot of these girls getting overwhelmed early in the fight, they shell up quite a bit. And so that kind of shot to land in between doesn't always present itself in her fights, in addition to her not always sharpshooting as well, getting a little ugly in her form sometimes in those combinations, getting a little wild. But tonight she put it together to get the knockout.
A lot of people in the chat are asking about Lauren Price. Now, I don't act like I'm a Lauren Price expert, but she's
too little.
She's down there and wait. Do y'all want her to fight Yokosta Vai next too? Should she move down?
Let the Michaela Mayer fight be next. Mayer will actually bring some competition. She'll punch with Shields. She'll land some shots. She'll throw down. She'll be durable. She'll be tough. She'll be conditioned. She'll exchange. Claressa beats her, but it'll be a really entertaining fight. And then we can get to the girl that's really a threat to her, and that's Thibault.
And Thibault.
But D Chicago, don't want to act like we don't have a lot of dissenting voices in here, because we definitely do. How is it hating because her resume is trash? What great fighter has she fought? He asks.
How's it trash? So in her professional debut, she beat Franchon Cruz. Franchon Cruz literally went on to become the undisputed champion, and then she beat her again earlier this year, 10 years after she beat her the first time. Savannah Marshall was pound for pound, arguably, or at least in the top 5 biggest punches in women's boxing. She went to the UK and beat her in the UK. That was supposed to be the girl, and the list goes on and on and on. Hannah Gabriel's former champion, big time puncher, beat her twice. The first time they fought, Hannah Gabriel's dropped her. Claressa got up and won. They said, "Oh well, Claressa didn't look good. She got exposed. She got up. She did the rematch and she beat her better."
No, I think they only did fight
if
that
I
one.
Right? If I want,
Fought that one time. Yep.
Okay, I'm tripping, but
yeah, Hannah Gabriel's.
You know,
is a three-time world champion with 13 knockouts and 22 wins, which is a pretty solid knockout percentage in women's boxing. And Christina Hammer was 24-0, a unified champion.
And bro,
has still only lost once to Claressa Shields.
I was there at the convention before Claressa had even turned pro.
There was a lot of people picking Christina Hammer.
There was a lot of people picking Christina Hammer. And I remember they had Christina Hammer and Claressa Shields facing off at the damn convention in 2016. The video is on my channel. It's there. Like, it's been there for years. So, like, nah, man, this is what happens. Like, she's consistently been great. She's redefined greatness in the sport of boxing, in the women's boxing. And, you know, when you're that much better than everybody else, they got to downplay you. That's what it is. That's how I see it.
I mean, no, I don't even want to say
if she Michaela,
playing, you know, if you want to point out that it's a fact of life that her talent pools are thin in her divisions. At some point, this level of dominance speaks for itself. You know,
if she beats Michaela Mayer, they're gonna say she already lost to was it Bumgardner? If she beats Tabo had less than 10 fights. You know, that's what people are gonna say.
Tabo has less than 10 fights, right? So here's the fair point to contrast, bringing up that point to people like D Chicago and others who, again, it's fair to bring that up. But my question to you then would be, what do you want her to do? To create a fighter that doesn't exist, that, you know, at some point you can only beat the people in front of you. And if you're that good, you beat them in dominant fashion, which she always does. That's it. Did you want Joe Louis to only fight the guys in his era, you know, and it was a much tougher era than it is in women's boxing in her weight classes, but still, that's the point. His resume wasn't as good as Evander Holyfield's or Lennox Lewis's, or, you know, I think even probably Larry Holmes had tougher opposition in the 80s. But, I mean, did Joe Louis ever fight a guy like Ken Norton, like Larry Holmes did? But at some point, what was it, 25 title defenses from Joe Louis, you know, bum of the club or not, a level of dominance speaks for itself. And again, I would just ask you, well, then what do you want her to do? Do you want her to wake up tomorrow and be at a size that she just wasn't born to be at? Do you want her to create do you want her to go into create a fighter? And then
this isn't NBA 2K where you can shrink or make somebody way bigger or way smaller. Like, the body, everybody's body composition is different. She was the heavyweight champion. She's been middleweight champion. She's won every weight class she could possibly compete in. She's dominated.
Junior middle, super middle, and heavyweight. Right. And Alicia Bumgardner calling her out at welterweight is just a clout chase. It's barking behind a fence, because you know she can't get down to welterweight. She's never fought below 154 pounds. You're a super featherweight. You've never fought above 130 pounds. She's what is she, undisputed in 4 weight classes now, if not 3. And so, you know, she's selling out arenas. You've never sold out an arena. The one time you may have sold out an arena, you were her undercard against Michaela Mayer, to Savannah Marshall's and Shields fight. If you're really serious about that fight, then you go up and fight her at 154 pounds. That's the minimum she can make. I understand Chris Cyborg saying, hey, why don't we fight? You know, I've been calling out that fight. That's a big fight. Chris Cyborg, she has a right to feel ducked because she's a big name in combat sports, and she's unlike Alicia. She's willing to fight at 154. They've sparred each other. You know, I think Claressa would beat her, obviously, but
yeah,
you know, that is a fight. Why not? You know, if we're thinking of another fight outside of Michaela Mayer and Tam Thibault, then why not the Chris Cyborg fight? You know, it's a fight between 2 big names in women's, you know, combat sports.
Attorney Bailey, I gotta address this Joe Louis comment.